April 2022, Imran Khan is kicked out from power. His government is overthrown and a coalition of 13 other political parties, all the major parties in Pakistan, come into power. Before he's ousted, Imran Khan makes this grand claim that there's a regime change operation against him. There's a conspiracy against him, and it is hatched by certain members of the deep state in Pakistan who have fed information to certain US officials. And these US officials have now become a party to this regime change operation. Imran Khan claims that there's a diplomatic cable, a cipher, that contains evidence of this collusion between the US officials and Pakistani officials. Now, thanks to the work of the Intercept and these amazing journalists, we have access to the diplomatic cable in question. Did Imran Khan lie about what's contained in this cable? Did Imran Khan lie about what's the meaning of what's contained in this cable? Was there or was there not a regime change operation to which the US was a party in Pakistan? Let's find out. The cable details the meeting between Ambassador Majid and the Secretary of State for South Asia, Donald Lu. From the, quote, outset, Donald Lu expressed grave concerns about Pakistan's, quote, aggressively neutral position towards the Ukraine issue. Importantly, Donald Lu said that the only person responsible for this position of Pakistan is Imran Khan. Ambassador Majid told him, hey, that's not true. It's not just Imran Khan. Pakistan's neutral position on this issue is a result of, quote, interagency consultations. The chief stakeholders in Pakistan's diplomatic circles, that's our bureaucracy, other state institutions, and the government, they got together, they discussed it among themselves, and they arrived at this position. Now, Donald Lu refused to believe him. He repeated that Imran Khan is solely responsible for this position and that this plan was hatched by him after the Beijing Olympics when he couldn't meet Putin. Ambassador Majid contradicts him again. He tells Donald that he is, quote, completely misinformed and has, quote, the wrong information. The Pakistani authorities had been planning this trip for years. Also, he told Donald that while Imran Khan was in Russia, he clearly regretted the situation that was happening and expressed a desire for diplomacy to work. So he was not going there to egg on Putin to carry out this war. And when he arrived in Russia, if we all remember, it wasn't certain that Russia is going to attack. The world wasn't sure. Other European leaders were also visiting Russia at the same time. And that's my question. Why? Why was he so sure that it was all Imran Khan's personal decision? Our ambassador is telling him again and again that it's not, and he's giving him reasons and evidence of how it's not, and he's refusing to believe him. Why? Could it be those powerful quarters of the deep state in Pakistan that Imran Khan accused of hatching the conspiracy to oust him and then feeding this information to US officials? Donald Lu's unshakable belief in his opinion, in the face of all the reasons given by Ambassador Majid, which I urge you to go and read in the cable yourself, may hint at this. But perhaps you want to argue that Donald Lu was not given this information by anybody in Pakistan. This was information that came to him from American intelligence, and that's what he was basing his opinion on. That's what he trusted more than what Ambassador Majid was telling him. Okay, for the sake of argument, let's assume that's true. Let's assume that traveling to Russia was Imran Khan's personal decision and that he didn't consult anybody else in Pakistan on that decision. Now, there are reports from credible journalists in Pakistan, and these are reports that are not coming out now. They've been here for a year now, that Imran Khan, even on the morning of leaving to Russia, actually called up the leader of the armed forces in Pakistan and asked him, hey, should I go? Do you still agree with the decision that we arrived at together? And then the leader said, let me go and consult with other parties. He went there, he consulted, he came back, he told him, yeah, that's okay. Keep on with the travel plans. But let's keep that evidence aside and let's assume for the sake of argument that it is true that going to Russia was Imran Khan's personal decision and he did not consult anybody else. Even in that case, what gives Donald Lu the right to respond in that arrogant manner? You know what he says? He says, I think if the no confidence vote against the Prime Minister succeeds, all will be forgiven in Washington. All will be forgiven in Washington? What are you talking about? Who's asking for your forgiveness? Who are you? Our master, our overlord? And are you issuing the same threat to our next door neighbor, India, who maintains the same aggressively neutral policy towards the issue of Russia and Ukraine and is buying from Russia oil at discounted rates and not issuing a word of condemnation against what's happening in Ukraine? And when Ambassador Majid says this to Donald Lu, he replies, you know, the US looks at the India situation from the lens of the China relationship. Okay, so that allows you to have a different stance for India and a different stance for Pakistan. Okay, and you know what he adds? He says, I think we will actually see a change in India's policy once all Indian students are out of Ukraine. Okay. So why not extend the same benefit of doubt to us? We had a lot of students in Ukraine too. Why are you assuming that we are acting in bad faith and India isn't? By the way, you were wrong. All the students came back. India's aggressively neutral position did not change. They remained neutral and they kept buying discount Russian oil, which, by the way, once our government was ousted, we decided not to do. We kept buying expensive oil from the rest of the world when everybody else in our region was buying cheap, discounted Russian oil. We were the only ones doing the US bidding. And then there are reports that our arms have started showing up in Ukraine. So we've become engaged in that conflict now at the bidding of the US. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? We might disagree on it. Whether it's a good thing that we have become militarily involved in Ukraine now, right? You might think it's good, I might think it's not so good. But the fact remains that there's an armed conflict in which we were not directly involved before this regime change operation. Our previous prime minister, democratically elected, was not in favor of it. Nobody in our region became involved in that way, right? China didn't, India didn't, other Central Asian republics did not. And we are now suddenly an arms provider. This time the case might be different. But let's not forget that that's the exactly same thing we did with Afghanistan. And look where that led us to. 80,000 people we lost, our economy trashed, our country branded as a terrorist state. Nobody's going there. And on the surface, at least, it does not seem to be a great thing that we've gotten ourselves involved in another armed conflict. Now, what's my verdict about the original question? Did Imran Khan lie about what's in the diplomatic cable? What is the meaning of the diplomatic cable? I think that at the very least, we can say that Donald Lu's behavior is arrogant, and in the face of Ambassador Majid's arguments, it's prima facie suspicious, and it provides probable cause for investigating if Donald Lu was, in fact, being fed misinformation from the powerful quarters in the deep state of Pakistan. That's what Imran Khan alleged. And we do have enough evidence in the cable to warrant an investigation on that. So no, I don't think the cable reveals that Imran Khan lied. The cable seems to reveal the opposite of that, or at least gives enough evidence to merit investigation into the matter. So far, it seems to support Imran Khan's stance. I want to leave you guys with the situation on the ground in Pakistan today, so you know why this matter is important. Imran Khan is incarcerated in an insect-infested 9 feet by 11 feet death cell where there's an open toilet, Indian-style toilet, which can be unhygienic, on trumped-up charges of misdeclaration of assets, where he acquired a watch legally, paid for it, and then sold it, but apparently did not write in the right column. 10,000 of his workers have been illegally detained. Some of them have been tortured, some of them have been killed. This includes women and children. Just today, another female member of the party, a senior member of the party, was abducted off of the streets in the presence of her mother. That's the situation in Pakistan. And I just wanted to end on that note so that we realize what the importance of arguing over this diplomatic cable is. It's a struggle for preserving the rights of currently tortured Pakistanis and for paving the way for a democratic and prosperous Pakistan in the future.